Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is another percussion tutorial talking about shakers. We've been camping out here talking about shakers. Now, in the previous episode, I mentioned that I'm working on an ebook. Keep a lookout for that. And I'm working on that. I'm hoping to get that out pretty soon, and I'm excited about it. This will be my first ebook that coincides with some lessons that I'm doing here on YouTube, and you'll be able to check that out at williamjohnsonmusic.com. Also, you see this hat that I'm wearing? Let me know if you like this hat. It's my got my logo, silhouette of my logo on there. It says William Johnson Music. I'm thinking about making more of them. I have been. It's just something I haven't got to. But I do have shirts. I've talked about that before. William Johnson Music shirts. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into this episode. All right, so shakers. We've been basically talking about playing in 4/4. But what if the tempo is more of a waltz and it's like in 6/8, the time signature changes, or it's in 3/4? And what do you do on your shakers then? Well, for many of you, this may not be an issue, but for some, it might be an issue. And basically, what we're going to do is talk about two different time signatures that are very common in CCM music or in houses of worship in that CCM context. So Bethel, Elevation, Chris Tomlin. I know that some of the worship styles are not necessarily CCM, but it's still all within that rock pop singer-songwriter, sometimes folk, sometimes new age genre, very contemporary in the rock and ballad as well, genres and categories. So one of these time signatures that's pretty common is 6/8, right? So I have my metronome here and I have a practice pad here, and I'm gonna set this to 6, and have it set to 6 for the time signature. And basically all that means is the pattern is going to 6 and starting over. But the pulse, they're felt in eighth notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And eighth notes are 1 and 2 and, or think of the word pizza, pizza. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So each one of those eighth notes gets a count. Pizza, 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 pizza. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, that's a waltz. Da, 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 da. We're talking about triplets here, basically. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? And that's what makes this feel much different than 4/4. Straight 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas in the triplets we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that triplet, as opposed to straight 4 or 2, right? Triplets, groups of 3, right, is what changes the feel. Now it could be in a waltz, da 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 da, or a straight triplet, da 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 da. Now, different styles of music are not always a waltz when they're in 6/8, but it is quite common to feel a waltz in CCM or worship music, various pop worship music, right? And basically, if we're playing a shaker like that, it's similar what some of the things that I do. Now, there's many different shaker patterns, and this is why I'm camping out on this, is because there's so many different ways to play a shaker, and it can really make the song go to another level, right? But some of the common ways, like playing on a cajon or a snare, when you're playing in 6/8, common again, not all, but is to put an emphasis on beats 1, beats 4, okay? Now, this is what I mean by that. 1 maybe being a bass note, 1, 2, 3. So we're counting the pulse of the meter by the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, and maybe that's on the bass drum, okay? But the snare or the accent, the higher pitch accent, is often on beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Right? So what if I take the shaker and transcribe it to that? Translate it to that. 1, 2, 3. Now, whether or not you hear that accent, in my mind, I'm using it as a template or a skeleton to keep me on pace. Now, you can play them straight, where there's no accents, and it's just the straight triplets in a waltz feel. Right? Or you can play where the first of every triplet, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right, is accented like I was doing before. Okay? So it's just, there's different ways to do it, but that's one of the ways where we can now play within another time signature. So we're playing within 6/8, and we're basically placing our accents on a different number. We're playing in 4/4. We place that accent on that beat 1. 16th note feel shaker. Take the accents away and just remember to count. And many of us are so used to 4/4 that really we can just as long as we're keeping the tempo straight, we're good, right? But this counting idea is really good because now not only can we have variations within a time signature, but we can switch really quick to another time signature. And the better that we get at counting, let's say we're playing in a time signature like 6/8 or 3/4 or something funky like 7 or 9, the better we are at counting, the more freedom we have in when we're playing. We don't have to sweat it as much and just guess and hope that I can just zone out and hope I get it right. But I can go, okay, I'm not sure what to do in that particular part of the song or in that song, but I know if I need to stay on point and I'm having a hard time, I can just count in my mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Or a 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You might say, well, that sounded just like when you were playing 4/4. Ah, but here's 4/4. This is 3/4. Ready? Go. Now, if you just want to go like this, you can stay straight, and that's just, and everyone else can play 3/4, and it'll still work, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. But if you want to play a little more expressively and line up with the rest of the band while you're playing the shaker, or let's say no instruments are playing in the beginning of the song, but you want to play something percussive but keep everyone locked into the right time signature, that's when this helps, because now you're not just going, because someone else might need that for them to lock in the right time signature so they don't lock on the piano or singing or something else and all of a sudden switching to 4/4. If I'm going, now they know, oh, bass on the piano or singing, emphasize 3/4, okay? It can be a help, and you can help you to play more expressively, all right? So basically what you're doing is understanding that there's a pattern, all right? So 3, 6, 8, I was mentioning that what's common is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bass on 1, snare on 4. Bass, 3, 4. Faster. 1, 2, 3. When you got that idea down, and you can use variation. Right? But I'm still counting in my mind. Okay? All right. Now, so 3/4. 1, 2, 3. 3/4. Often, what in this, again, this genre, what often happens, very common, it's not every song, but very common, is the first beat is a strong down beat, and the snare, that accent is on beat 3. And then we go right back into the next pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. I slowed it down. 1, 2, 2. Right? Okay? So 3/4, 1, 2, 3, right? Shaker, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Speed it up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now it might be cool to add some rhythm to the song, but just enough. Maybe we don't want to add a drum, but we want to add some percussion. It adds another level of excitement perhaps. But we don't want to do it on the snare. We don't want to do it on the bass drum, but it gives just enough to add some organic ambiance to the song. And so it helps to understand what kind of rhythms you will play within that time signature. Totally can be done with the shaker. We're going to explain and go a little bit more into different time signatures, but this is an intro, okay? So 6/8, often played in a waltz. Think triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it's 6/8, so the pattern starts over on 6. Now, this is math. So really you can play 3 if you want, and it lines up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But the melody is starting over. The pattern is every 6/8 notes. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pizza, 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 pizza. Okay? Pizza, pizza, pizza. So we're saying pizza 3 times. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Right? Pizza, 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 pizza. 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At a very slow tempo. Okay? All right. So you can still play a 16th note feel and an 8th note feel and a quarter note feel in 6/8. Right? And in 3/4, whatever. But we're going to get into all of that. Really, it comes down to feeling and then picking out some songs that are in these different time signatures. And if there's a shaker on there, listening to it. But what also helps is listening to hi-hat patterns of the drum set. Because within these hi-hat patterns, you often hear an ostinato. And that ostinato is reminiscent basically of what we're doing here. It's just often we use the swishes, swish, 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 to fill up the space, whereas a hi-hat is often doing straight staccato, short hits, where we are playing legato, longer, space out more with the swish. That's legato, it's softer, it's spaced out more, right? Like a sanding, as opposed to hitting a nail, it's like sanding wood, right? As opposed to going, I'm sanding 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 but I'm also hitting 8th notes. You see the difference there? Constant sound fills out the space a little bit. It's often what a shaker does. Now, that's a lot of talking about the ideas of the music, but when you understand the role and the contribution, then you can use creativity to make different sounds of variations with your instrument, with the shaker, to add some organic ambiance to the song. So now it's not just, but all of a sudden it's like when it's the shaker's in that guy's hand, it's like all of a sudden the song comes alive. It's a lot of virtuosity that can be added in these little instruments. All right. Probably an esoteric episode, probably a little too ethereal, more ethereal and less practical. I don't know. If this episode helped, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. And I love you. God bless you all. Heaven smile upon you. I'll see you soon.